Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of United Talks podcast. And today we are going to be analyzing Michael Carrick's pre-match press conference ahead of the Chelsea game that takes place as of the time of recording. Might be tomorrow for some of you guys, but it is what it is. This analysis kind of covers the press conference held today, Friday, where Michael Carrick addressed the media following a 2-1 home defeat to Leeds and looking ahead of the clash with Chelsea. We're going to break this analysis into multiple parts. The first part is the analysis of the questions, basically. And basically, like I said, every time we come here, we try to analyze press conferences to get a sense of the temperature of the club and get a sense of an understanding of what is happening at the club and how we can move forward and all of that and everything in between. So we'll start with the analysis and gauge, basically where the journalists are coming from and how it links to what we require as a team and ahead of the game as well. The journalists actually focused on three areas of vulnerability for Manchester United. First and foremost is the disciplinary crisis, then the youth development, and then there's a tactical criticism. The first one was the disciplinary fallout. I mean, the last two games United have got 2 red cards. The primary line of questioning was aggressive regarding the loss of defenders. Reporters pressed Carrick on the additional ban for Harry Maguire and the failed appeal for Lisandro Martínez. Carrick did not specifically state that the appeal was failed, but just like Martinez cannot play and there's no need to go over it. I think there was rumors last week that, Man United were going to appeal the red card. This actually highlighted the perception of a siege mentality or a lack of discipline within the club during the high pressure games. But then you cannot say it is the fault of certain players like Harry Maguire against Bournemouth when obviously there's a blatant penalty shout for Ahmad, and you cannot say that it is a blatant red card when it comes to the interaction between Lisandro Martínez and Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the game against Leeds. So yeah, there's no need to kind of find a way to blame the refs, because if you listen to the voices of the refs when it comes to the audio that came from the VAR and the referees in that game, you could tell that, there was a whole lot of gaping hole and mistakes in the refs' decisions. Then when it came to squad depth, the question was around squad depth and youth. The senior centre-backs unavailable, and the media pushed Carrick to justify the readiness of Ayden Heaven and Yoro. Obviously, Yoro, it came out recently, today, that Yoro is injured and could miss the rest of the season. The questions were actually designed to see if Carrick viewed them as emergency stopgaps or legitimate long-term successors to the aging backline. Obviously, this basically with regards to the futuristic aspect of it. Then with regards to the tactical scrutiny, the most pointed questions concern his substitutions, which he's come under scrutiny, and I've seen some articles from The Athletic questioning Michael Carrick's substitutions. There was a clear narrative from the press that Michael Carrick has been too slow to react during the Leeds loss, and we've said this multiple times, game management. But some of you came for me in my comments, but it is what it is. By asking about his thought process, this was from Simon Stone, I believe, behind the substitutions and Mason Mount's lack of clear slots, as journalists were actually questioning Carrick's tactical flexibility compared to his predecessor Ruben Amorim. And Carrick said that, Mason Mount has a place in this squad. Then with regards to his answers, this is Michael Carrick's answers. We're analyzing his answers. The first one, Carrick's responses were kind of characterized by a move-on philosophy designed to protect the players and project stability amidst a, burgeoning defensive crisis. One of the answers was with regards to deflecting the disciplinary noise that we came out. We talked about the noise at the beginning, right? Carrick used short, repetitive phrases like "it is what it is" and "we've got to move on" to shut down the debate regarding the officials. The strategy is by refusing to revisit the specifics of Martinez's red card for pulling Dominic Calvert-Lewin's hair or Maguire's additional ban for verbal abuse. He prevented the media from kind of framing a team as uncontrolled. He also acknowledged the disappointment but shifted the focus immediately to preparation. The second aspect was the process over panic, which is kind of like the youth integration with Yoro and Heaven. When asked about Heaven, Carrick notably was protective, right? Key detail, he described Heaven's inconsistent game time as natural and pretty straightforward for a young player. He said that certain times they're going to have time to play and come back and all of those things. Carrick was actively pushing back against the future of the club tag, basically saying you can't predict the future, trying to lower the expectations for the Chelsea game. He also framed Heaven as Yoro's presence not as a crisis-driven necessity, but a reward for their learning and listening, because he mentioned that Heaven listens a lot. With regards to the defensiveness of the squad when it comes to character and narrative, Carrick's defense of the substitution strategy was the most defiant moment of the briefing. The rebuttal was one of the things that we noticed in that presser. He dismissed the comparison of substitution numbers as irrelevant, insisting that results have generally been good. Then, with regards to the Leeds spin, instead of dwelling on the tactical errors that led to the 2-0 deficit against Leeds, he pivoted, actually 2-1. He pivoted to the character shown in the final 20 minutes following Casemiro's goal, and he's using the late game rally as a psychological blueprint for the Chelsea match rather than focusing on the 2-1 defeat itself. With regards to the Mason Mount conundrum, Carrick's answer regarding Mason Mount was telling in its ambiguity. Now, the observation is that he admitted that there was a decision to be made on whether to change it or not during the Leeds game. By stating that Mount is finding rhythm, and he subtly suggests a signal that Mount does not yet have the guaranteed place in the preferred 11, unlike a more defined role that he held under Ruben Amorim. Now, to kind of give you the context with regards to Mason Mount, he said that Mount has a place in the squad, has a future in this club, and will most likely, make it in the team. But it is what it is. It's one of those things where, one man's food is another man's poison. Michael Carrick preferred not to use Mount, and Ruben Amorim preferred to use Mount, so it is what it is. In summary, with regards to the tone of the presser, Michael Carrick remains a pragmatic, stoic kind of manager. He refused to give the media headlines regarding the controversial bans. He instead opted for boring but stable narrative. And that is what has been the tone he has been trying to set with this press conference. Very boring, calm, quiet. And he's betting on the mentality of the remaining players to overcome the severe lack of defensive experience heading to the Stamford Bridge. I no longer see journalists like Jamie Jackson ask penetrating questions anymore. I don't know why, but it is what it is, and we'll leave it at that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and feelings about Michael Carrick's pre-match press conference ahead of Chelsea as we look forward to the game. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section as well. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to all things Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.